everyone, this is Chiari here, and today I'm going to make DAIKON soup. DAIKON is a radish. It's an Asian radish. That's going to be like the main ingredient to this. Here's the recipe. It's kind of like my kimchi soup, but instead of more kimchi and adding napa cabbage and stuff, it's just going to be DAIKON. So what I have is I got 2 trays of this thinly sliced pork here. The pork has a little bit fat, not too much. I have green onions here. We're going to put that in last. We're going to have an onion, about a half an onion. I'm going to add a bunch of ginger and garlic, some medium firm tofu, some garlic powder, sesame seed oil. I'm going to add a can of Korean kimchi, kikoman, gochujang, which is hot sauce, Korean hot sauce, sea salt, and black pepper. What I want to do first is I want to go and peel the DAIKON, and I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to make slivers, and I'll show you from there. So what I did was I peeled it. It's easier to peel, and they come in different sizes. So I peeled it. This was the whole block. What I did was I cut it in half, and I'm cutting it in half again, so it'll be quarters. And so I'm going to just cut this radish. So you're going to want to go to the Asian market and get some of this radish. I'm going to kind of cut it a little thin, just like that. It's a very, very, very easy meal. There's going to be a lot of radish. Just like that. I'm just going to prep everything first before I put it in the pot. Okay, so now I have my onion. I'm going to cut it in half because I'm not going to use the whole thing. I don't have a really big pot. So I cut that and just take the outside layer out. I'm not going to make it into small pieces. We're just going to make slices. Just like that. You can also go ahead and just like cut in half like that. Put that to the side. Next, I want to get the ginger. And you say, oh, that's a lot of ginger. But really, it's not point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a spoon. This is the best way to peel ginger. Okay, so I took off as much peel as I could. It's not really dangerous to keep the peel on. So it's probably the best part, but it's just a little papery, kind of like you would see in onions and garlic. But it's okay to leave it like that. So what I want to do is I want to cut the ginger. And I get good sharp scissors. Carefully cut it like that. And then I'm going to cut it in matchsticks. Kind of tuck my fingers kind of in the back, like that. And this is what's going to make the broth really tasty. This, the garlic, a lot of garlic, and the other ingredients. Just go down, forth, down, forth. Make it into tiny bits. So that way, if you keep it big, somebody might bite into it and not like it. I mean, I like ginger. suck on ginger every day, and it's good for our immune system. You don't want to get old ginger, it's going to get stringy. You can kind of tell this one is not stringy. Like I have some ginger that's really old, and it's real stringy. See how much ginger we have here? If you don't want to add that much ginger, just add just a little bit, but just know that your stock will be very, very flavorful, and this is a very, very healthy dish. So that is almost an equal amount of a small onion. A bulb here, and I'm going to take it out of its peel and put it into a garlic press. I want it really fine. Okay, so I got my whole bulb of garlic. I have it here. I'm gonna get my garlic press. Just keep adding. And all of this is gonna be cooked down together, so you don't have to worry about separating them. Okay, so I have a pot here. I'm gonna add some olive oil to the pot. Okay, so while that's heating up, it should be hot now. I have the trays of meat. I'm gonna put it in the hot oil. Okay, so now I have it on medium. I had it on high. I'm gonna kind of separate my pork here. I'm gonna season this really nicely with some garlic powder, sea salt, and pepper. Okay, so I added a lot of garlic powder. Now I'm going to add a pinchful of sea salt and a lot of pepper. Whatever pepper amount you want. I'm just going to add that much. What I'm also going to do is just put a splash of shoyu or soy sauce. I'm using the DAIKON. I'm also going to add a little gochujang, just like that. Okay, so I have it like that. I have it on medium. And while it's kind of red like this, I want to add the onion, garlic, and the ginger right now. So I have all of that here. I'm going to add it to the pot. Okay, so I added all that in. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of sesame seed oil. For now, I'm going to add more of the shoyu and the sesame seed oil later, and more gochujang. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put it on a little bit on medium high at the moment. Let this cook. It's been cooking for a little bit now, and the onions are getting translucent. The smells from the garlic and the ginger, incorporating those flavors into the meat while it's still a little raw. I'm going to cook it for another couple minutes, and then I'm going to add the kimchi. If you're looking a lot of Asian cooking, like the old timers, they don't measure things, they just go based on smell. Okay, so see how it's translucent now? Let's go add the kimchi. The kimchi I have here does not have any MSG, monosodium glutamate, or preservatives. So if you can find this in your Asian market, that would be good. What I'm going to do is add, this is about 12 ounces. If you make your own kimchi, you can do that too. It's still a little bit raw. We want to add the kimchi in there. And you can use whatever spiciness of kimchi you like, you can add. And cook it for a minute. And also on the top, I'm just going to add a squirt of like gochujang. You can't just use regular chili paste. You have to use gochujang. I'm going to add a little bit more DAIKON, just a splash, and a little bit more of sesame seed oil. And now we're going to incorporate it. Okay, so from this point now, I'm going to add the DAIKON. Okay, so I added the DAIKON into the pot. I'm going to leave it on the top, and I'm going to fill this pot up to this line here. Okay, so you see, I added the water over there, like that, underneath that. So let's just leave it like this. It's going to steam, and you see how white this daikon is? We're gonna wait until it gets a little translucent. Once it's a little translucent, we're gonna add our tofu. And meanwhile, while that's cooking, I'm getting short grain rice. You want to get short grain rice, not long grain rice. It's not authentic if it's not short grain. So you want to clean it, wash it. For me, I'm going to do stovetop, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So I'm just adding water. I already did one rinse. You see how cloudy it is? You want to just kind of get that cloudiness out. There also may be pebbles in here, so there's some husk. So that's why you want to wash it. Okay, so this is my third wash here. So this is my final. So I have putting my finger all the way in the bottom, and it was all the way to the line of my finger. So I just want to put my finger on the top of the rice and kind of, that's how much water you have to add to it. And now I put on high. What we're going to do is let this boil. Okay, so when I was doing the rice, I had to turn down the heat because it was kind of boiling over. So I had to kind of creak open a little, like that. We're going to cook it. Sorry about the fan. That's what it looks like so far. Okay, so I took off the pot, the lid, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my tofu. Okay, so I'm using the medium firm tofu, and this is the refrigerated tofu. Sometimes you can get tofu in the box. It's okay, I've tried it both ways, and there's different kinds of, from soft that's kind of crumbly that we make mapo tofu with, or you have the firm ones. Some people use the extra firm when they're making like some kind of tofu patties. So this has water in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slit, and then I'm going to drain the water. I'm going to put it onto my cutting board. Okay, so I drained the water, and this is what the tofu looks like. Okay, so this is the tofu on the cutting board. I want to make 3 layers here and cut it. Meanwhile, the daikon is still a little white, but you can kind of see a little translucent going on there. You want to cook it down because it does have like a, how do you say, like a peppery taste. Cook it down until it is more translucent like this. And at this time, you can kind of pick up the meat and the kimchi and just kind of mix it up. This is very good for cold days like this. And did you notice that the daikon, kind of like hot potatoes, kind of shrink down once it's cooking? And I want to add the tofu on the top here. I'm going to leave it to rest like how I did the daikon. I want that flavors to go into the tofu. Okay, once you see the tofu on here, I'm going to leave it on the top and let that cook. So I'm going to close this up a little. I'm going to leave it open, jar, and I'm going to cook it down for probably another 10 minutes. And you don't want to mix the tofu or it's going to get really crumbly because this is medium firm. Just leave it on the top like how I did the daikon. Okay, so the last thing is just cutting the green onions. I'm going to cook it like about that much. Cut it. That's going to go in very, very last. I'm going to cut off the little roots off the sides, and I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so that's the green onions. I cut it about that big. Oh, the more white there is on the green onion, the more kind of real oniony taste, like very strong taste. So I'm going to cook this down a little bit, like 5 minutes before it's done. I'll show you that. Okay, so it got really hot and bubbly, so I just took off the cover. I'm I'm gonna let it cook like that for a bit. Okay, so now it's been about 15 minutes, almost 20 minutes now. I'm just gonna stir this a little with a big ladle. Just a little, just to see if the daikon is transparent. It is clearly not, so let's cook it I'm gonna just add the green onions on the top, just let it cook here. Okay, so yeah, we didn't mix the tofu yet. It's still a little white with daikon. That kind of helps prevent it overcooking. I'm just going to kind of mix everything. And the green onions is going to cook down. But I don't want to cook it down too much. I want to keep it green. So let's get all the meats from the bottom up. So yeah. So now I'm just going to close it. You notice I put some of the pork in the top. Just gonna have it just open a little. Another 5 minutes. Okay, so this is the rice I cooked. This is the soup. I'm going to add one more splash of kikomon, like that, and one more splash of sesame seed oil. Okay, so there's that little splash of sesame seed oil. Okay, so I just kind of incorporated it, and I have it off the stove, and I'll present it in a bowl. What you want to do is you want to get some of your short grain rice, and then you're going to ladle your soup right over it. Okay, so you have it. Voila. That's the daikon soup with some kimchi, tofu, pork. Hope you guys try it. Voila.